Hey everyone, Keith Valentine here with another paddle review. Today we're checking out the new collection from Holbrook Pickleball. They just launched the Aero series. We're going to dive into what these paddles excel at, where they might fall short, who would benefit from them, and why you should consider picking one up. Let's get started. This review is my opinion based on my 4 years of doing reviews and the fact that I've played over 300 paddles and reviewed now over 150 paddles to date. Holbrook wasn't promised a review and they aren't paying me for this review. I only review paddles that I think are good paddles or paddles that people have requested me to review. So if you have a particular brand, drop me a comment and I'll see about doing a review of that paddle. Or if I'm not going to review it, I'll respond to your comment and tell you what I know of that brand. These paddles are priced at $199, but using the Pirates code or the affiliate link in the description below, you can grab one for $169.99. At that price, I think it offers excellent value for the money, giving you a high quality all-court paddle for around 170 bucks. I'm gonna pop up the specs of the different models here on the screen so you can see them, and then we'll get into the details about these paddles. Let's start by looking at these paddles. These Aero series, it's Holbrook's first attempt at an edgeless design. The surface is smooth, it's got a subtle edge that seamlessly blends into the paddle face, giving it a very distinct appearance. Now, this is very similar to the Volay's paddles. The Volay's paddles have a sealed carbon edge like this, so very similar to those paddles. But I love the way the Holbrook logo looks and the way it doesn't interfere with the spin from the face, so it doesn't get in the middle of the sweet spot. The handle and the custom grip are well executed, and they actually color match the paddles to the handle. Plus, they placed their logo on the side, painted it on the edge. It's definitely noticeable on the court. I love the look and the feel of this paddle. I know it sounds silly, but if you like the look of a paddle, it makes you play better with it, at least in your mind. Now, Holbrook has done the right thing with these paddles by injecting EVA foam around the edges and into the handle. This foam layer enhances the sweet spot and the stability and basically reduces the vibration on your hands and your body. That's something that all edgeless paddles suffer from. I would compare this to the Pro Drive Encounter for its stability, but the Pro Drive has a little bit more power than these paddles. Additionally, they've added lead weights to these paddles' corners. They put 10 gram in the top two corners and 5 grams in the bottom corners right here and here. This helps improve the balance and expand the sweet spot. I love control paddles and not really head-heavy paddles, so I appreciate how balanced these paddles feel right from the start. The core is made of the standard polypropylene honeycomb, and that's common in many of the paddles, but the foam injection and the strategic weight placement really sets this line apart. So let's talk about how these paddles feel. In my experience, most edgeless paddles tend to be unstable when you hit them on the edges. Yep, the ball goes straight, but the twist weight on these a little bit lower because of the lack of the edge guard, which adds perimeter weight. But with the foam injection and the corner weight distribution, these paddles feel incredibly steady in the hands. I noticed this immediately when I started playing with them. The ball response is fantastic. Most brands that aren't Generation 3 paddles, the 16 millimeter is great for drops, dinks, and resets, but the more powerful is the 14 millimeter. That's the power in the pop. However, it does feel a little bit less stable in the hand, with a little bit more vibration that hits your body than the 16 millimeter version. A lot of times with the thinner version, you gotta add a little bit of lead tape to the corners. It'll widen the sweet spot. It'll increase the twist weight, but you'll sacrifice a little bit of speed and you'll increase the static weight of the paddle and it'll increase the power. But these paddles have really low swing weight from 112 to 115. You can really tell the difference when you add the weight to them. But because the 14 millimeter is only 7.7, you got some wiggle room. The 16, if you add weight, it comes in at 8 ounces. I usually play my paddles at 8.3 to 8.5, so I would add weight to these regardless personally. Now when it comes to spin, this paddles offers a decent amount of grit. Other edgeless paddles, you know, they all kind of suffer from this because they don't have the strictly carbon fiber face, but this isn't a top tier spin paddle. It really delivers solid spin performance because it has the T700 carbon fiber unidirectional pattern. The 14 millimeter has a little bit more spin than the 16 millimeter, but this is common for all paddles, usually with their 14 millimeter version versus their 16 millimeter. Now when it comes to the power and the pop, the 14 millimeter definitely provides more of both than the 16, but I wouldn't quite call it a power paddle. It's more of an all-court performance paddle, and that's really where a lot of people are going. They want to have an all-court that doesn't lean one way or the other, that they can do anything they want with it. Now this style offers a good balance of power and control without leaning too heavily towards one or the other. Really, I think for the playing style, you know, if you're more advanced, you can do more with the 14 millimeter because of the speed in your hands. For those of you that like the control paddles, the 16 millimeter definitely is the route you want to go. Now the only drawback I can see on these paddles will be that they only have a 5.25 inch handle length, so two-handed backhand might be a little bit tough for you. But overall, I really enjoyed playing these paddles, and I definitely will get more games in with them as I'm playing around. I want to thank Holbrook for sending us these paddles to review, and I want to thank those of you that are using our code. That helps us keep the lights on and helps us keep bringing you these great reviews. But if you don't like Holbrook and you want to check out some other paddles, check these out.